So, hi all, welcome back to Malware Analysis. I am Jay Lavanya, Assistant Professor of CS22045 Department. So, today in this video, we're going to discuss on a topic called Trojan concepts. So, let's dive into the video. So, what is a Trojan horse virus? It is a type of malware that downloads onto a computer disguised as a legitimate program. The delivery method typically sees an attacker that uses software engineering to hide the malicious code within the legitimate software to try and gain user system access within their software. In simple way to answer the question, the Trojan is nothing but it's a malware that typically gets hidden as an attachment in an email or a free to download file, then transfers onto the user's device. Okay. So once downloaded, the malicious code will execute the task the attacker designed it for, such as gain backdoor access to cooperate the system, spy on a user's online activity, or steal some sensitive data. Okay. So indications of a Trojan being active on a device include some unusual activity such as computer settings being changed unexpectedly. Okay. And if you take the history of the Trojan horse, the original story of the Trojan horse can be found in the Aeneid by Virgil and the Odyssey by Homer. In the story, the enemies of the city of Troy were able to get inside the city gates using a horse they pretended was a gift. The soldiers had inside the huge wooden horse, and once inside, they climbed out and let the other soldiers in. There are few elements of the story where that makes the term Trojan horse as an appropriate name for these type of cyber attack. The first one, the Trojan horse, was a unique solution to the target's defenses. In the original story, the attackers had laid siege to the city for 10 years and hadn't succeeded in defeating it. The Trojan horse gave them the access they had been waiting for a decade, that is, for 10 years. So the Trojan virus similarly can be a good way to get behind an otherwise tight set of defenses. The Trojan horse appeared to be a legitimate gift. In similar way, a Trojan virus looks like a legitimate software. The soldiers in the Trojan horse control the city's defense system. With a Trojan's virus, the malware takes control of your computer, potentially leaving it vulnerable to other invaders. So how this Trojan works? So before that, seeing the common types of Trojan malware, let us see how does this Trojan works. Okay. So unlike the computer viruses, Trojan horse cannot manifest by itself. So it needs a user to download the server side of the application for it to work. This means the executable file, that is the exe.exe file, should be implemented and the program installed for the Trojan to attack a device system. A Trojan's virus spreads through some legitimate looking emails and the files attached to it. Okay, and which is spammed to reach the inboxes as many people as possible. When the email is open and the malicious attachment is downloaded, the Trojan server will install and automatically run every time the infected device is turned on. So the devices can also be infected by a Trojan through some social engineering tactics, which the cyber criminals use to coerce users into downloading some malicious applications. The malicious file could be hidden in the banner advertisements, pop-up advertisements, or link on websites. Okay. A computer infected by the Trojan malware can also be spreaded to other computers. A cyber criminal turns the device into a zombie computer, which means they have some remote control of it without the user knowing. So the hackers can then use zombie computer to continue sharing malware across a network of devices known as a botnet. For example, A user might receive an email from someone they know, which includes an attachment that also looks legitimate. However, the attachment contains some malicious code that executes and installs Trojan on their device. Okay, the user often will not know anything untoward has occurred, as the computer may continue to work normally with no signs of having it been infected. The malware will reside undetected until the user takes a certain action, such as visiting a certain website or banking app. This will activate the malicious code and the Trojan will carry out the hacker's desired action. So depending on the type of Trojan and how it was created, the malware may delete itself, return to being dormant, or remain active on the device. So Trojans can also attack and infect some smartphones and tablets using a strand of mobile malware. This could occur through the attacker redirecting traffic to a device connected to a Wi-Fi network and then using it for launch the cyber attack. Okay. So next we are going to discuss is about the most common types of Trojan malware. The first one, backdoor Trojan, banker Trojan, distributed denial of service Trojan, that is DDoS, and downloaded Trojan, exploit Trojan, and fake antivirus Trojan. So apart from that, there are so many viruses which we will discuss. Okay. So first one, that is the backdoor Trojan. So what is meant by the backdoor Trojan? Yes, the meaning, like we could be able to see this a backdoor Trojan enables an attacker to gain the remote access to a computer and take control of it using a backdoor. So this enables a malicious actor to do whatever they want on the device, such as deleting files or rebooting the computer, stealing data, or uploading the malware. A backward Trojan is frequently used to create a botnet through a network of zombie computers. Okay, and this, how does this backdoor work? Trojan work is that, so backdoor Trojans exploit some vulnerabilities, okay, or weakness in a system to create a hidden entry point. So this backdoor allows the attackers to remotely connect to the infected system and control it without the user's knowledge or the consent. So once inside, attackers can execute the commands, okay, by using some for stealing the data, or install some additional malware, or even use a compromised system as a platform for further attacks. And what are the key characteristics of this backdoor Trojan is that stealthy, remote access, and it is very versatile. Okay, so it can be used to install other malware like steal data or perform various other malicious actions. Okay, and examples of backdoor Trojan, if you take, like installing ransomware or stealing some sensitive information or creating some botnet. So these all comes under the backdoor Trojan. So next we are going to discuss is about the banker Trojan. So banker Trojan, as the name suggests, right? So we have like which deals with some banker, it deals with some banks. Okay, so this banker Trojan to target the user's banking accounts and financial information. It attacks to steal the account data for credit and debit cards or e-payment systems and online banking system. Okay, so that's what we used to say, like outside the home, while you're using the computer. So be careful that you're not supposed to use in some organization because it may be hacked. Okay, and there is a tiny banker Trojan, which is called Stimpa. So that it targets like financial websites. It works by starts like man in the browser attack and network stiffing. Okay, so if you're going for these kind of banking Trojans, so that what will happen or how it works is that, like for example, a Trojan may be distributed as a malicious attachment to a phishing email or download as part of cracked or fake copy of a legitimate software. Okay, so once installed on an infected machine, banking Trojan can collect the online banking login credential and other sensitive information in some various ways. Okay, some methods include dumping cached credentials from the system and web browsers, or monitoring the system keyboard. So what type of key you're using. Okay, because since the keyboard is default for around the world, right? And searching the file system for some stored password and using a keylogger to collect the login details when a user browses to target the websites. Okay, some of the examples of banking Trojan is that ISD ID, Ramnet, Hydra, Bridex. So these are the names like ISD ID's banking Trojan was first discovered in September 2017. This Trojan spreads via mail spam and different malwares such as emoted campaign and uses a variety of techniques to hide its presence on infected system. Okay, and similar to that, this Hydra, it is also a banking Trojan that targets the Android devices and first emerged in 2019. So this malware abuses a mobile app permission to gain access to some financial credit. Okay, so so how to defend against these kind of banking Trojan is that first, we have to give some training for the employees and email security, endpoint security, or you can go for like some multi-factor authentication and credit freezing. Okay, so it all comes under the banker Trojan. And next one is that distributed denial of service Trojan. So these Trojan programs carry out attacks that overload a network with the traffic. It will send multiple requests from a computer or a group of computers to overwhelm a target web addresses and cause a denial of service. And this distributed malware, what will happen? DO Trojan, what is will be doing is that here it replicates some of the DDoS or attack, that kind of thing, which uh, turns back at targeted servers or the networks with some traffic. Okay, and how it works is that infection, the Trojan is spread through some various methods, including phishing email or malicious download or some vulnerabilities in software and installation. So once installed, the Trojan establishes a connection with a common command and control server, which is controlled by the attacker. And botnet formation, the Trojan turns the infected device into a bot, joining a larger network of bots. Okay. And DDoS attack, the attacker uses a botnet to launch a DDoS attack against a target, overburden it with traffic. And like example, like there is a Myri malware, which is a well-known example of DDoS Trojan that exploited vulnerabilities in IoT devices to create a large botnet. Okay, so this is all about distributed DDoS Trojan. Okay, and next we are gonna see is that a downloader Trojan. So a downloader Trojan targets a computer that has already been infected by a malware. Then it downloads and installs more malicious program to it. So this could be some additional Trojans or other types of malware like adware. So this we have already discussed in the previous video. So if you want, you can just check it out. So downloader Trojan, here also it uses some of the things where it could be able to discuss. Okay, and next one we are gonna see is that exploit Trojan. So exploit malware program contains the code or the data that takes advantage of the specific vulnerabilities within an application or a computer system. The cyber criminal will target the users through a method like a phishing attack, then use the code in the program to exploit a known vulnerability. Okay, and so like exploit Trojan, what will do is that it will also go for some kind of cases where it uses some laboratory or PVP exploit for detecting or computing some exploit based on Windows. That is all about exploit Trojan. Next one, fake antivirus Trojan. A fake antivirus Trojan simulates the actions of legitimate antivirus software. The Trojan is designed to detect and remove the threats like a regular antivirus program, then extort money from users for removing the threats that may be not existent. Okay, so these are the common types of Trojan malware, and apart from that, we have the game thief Trojan. So a game thief Trojan is specifically designed to steal the user account information from people playing online games. I think this is much more vital Trojan. Okay. And next one is that instant messaging Trojan, which is called as IM Trojan. So this type of Trojan targets the IM services to steal the user's login and passwords. It targets the popular messaging platforms such as AOL Instant Messenger, ICQ, MSN Messenger, Skype, and Yahoo Messenger. Okay. From these meetings, it will get the information which you are passing or through the meetings, corporate is happening around the world. Okay. And next one, Info Stealer Trojan. So Info Stealer Trojan, what will do is that so here, this malware can either be used to install some trojans or prevent the user from detecting the existence of a malicious program. The components of an info stealer trojans can make it difficult for antivirus system to discover them in scans. Okay, and mail finder Trojan. A mail finder Trojan, as the name suggests, it aims to harvest and steal the email addresses that are being stored on a computer. And next one, ransom Trojan. So ransom Trojans seek to impair a computer's performance or block data on the device so that the user can no longer access or to use it. Okay. The attacker will then hold the user or organization ransom until they pay a ransom fee to undo the device damage and unlock the affected data. And next one, remote access Trojan. Similar to a backdoor Trojan, this strand of malware gives the attacker full control of a user's computer. The cyber criminal maintains access to the device through a remote network connection, which they use to steal information or spy on a user. Next one is that a rootkit Trojan. A rootkit is a type of malware that conceals itself on a user's computer. Its purpose is to stop the malicious program from being detected, which enables the malware to remain inactive on an infected computer for a longer period. The next one is that a short message service Trojan, that is SMS. So an SMS Trojan infects the mobile devices and is capable of sending and intercepting the text messages. So this includes some sending messages to some premium rate phone numbers, which increases the cost on a user's phone bill. Okay. And next one, spy Trojan. Spy Trojans are designed to sit on a user's computer and spy on their activity. So this includes logging their keyboard actions, taking screenshot, accessing the application they use, and tracking login data. And last but not least is called Sunburst. So this Sunburst Trojan virus was released on numerous SolarWinds Orient platform. Victims were compromised by Trojanized versions of legitimate SolarWinds, that is digitally signed file name SolarWinds Orient Core Business Layer.dll. So the Trojanized file is a backdoor. So once on a target mission, it remains dormant for a 2-week period and will then retrieve commands that allow it to transfer, execute, or perform reconnaissance, reboot, and halt the system services. So communication occurs over HTTP to predetermined URL. Okay, so this is all about the most common types of Trojan malware. So next, we will discuss about the features of Trojan horse. So first one is that it steals information. So the Trojan horses are often designed to steal some sensitive information such as password, banking details, and other personal data which is stored on the victim's computer. Okay, so this is what we have discussed in the types of Trojan. And next one, that is remote access. A Trojan horse can grant remote access to an attacker, allowing them to control the infected system and perform some actions without the user's knowledge or consent. And next one, that is data deletion. Some Trojan horses are capable of deleting or corrupting data on the user's computer, causing data loss or some system instability. And next one, how to recognize a Trojan virus. Okay, so like that would be some a Trojan horse virus maybe can remain on a device for months without the user knowing the computer has been infected. This is a great deal, you know. So, however, the telltale signs of the presence of a Trojan include computer settings suddenly changing, a loss in computer performance, or unusual activity taking place. The best way to recognize a Trojan is to search a device using a Trojan scanner, or a malware removal software. Okay. And examples of Trojan horse virus attacks is that so Trojan attacks have been responsible for causing the major damage by infecting the computers and stealing the user data. So well-known examples of Trojans include a Arachne Trojan. So the Arachne Trojan delivers some ransomware or a cryptojacker tool, which enables an attacker to use a device to mine some cryptocurrency to infect the devices. And a tiny banker enables the hackers to steal the user's financial details. It was discovered when it infected at least 20 US banks. Okay, and ZS or Z boot. So ZS is a toolkit that targets the financial services and enables the hackers to build their own Trojan malware. The source code uses some techniques like form grabbing and keystroke logging to steal the user credential and financial details. So these kind of things happening in the pattern. So how to protect yourself, right, from Trojan viruses is that you have to practice a good cyber hygiene is always the best line of defense against Trojan virus and other threats. So keep your OS updated and patch, run antivirus software and allow to scan your devices regularly and avoid phishing attacks by carefully inspecting some inbound emails. Okay. So these are the common steps to recognize a Trojan virus. First one, unexpected system behavior, slow performance. Third one, new files or programs, suspicious emails and attachments. And last one, abrupt changes in the security settings. So like detecting the Trojan horses challenging, right? So because as they often disguise themselves as a legitimate software. So however, there is certain signs which may indicate a Trojan horse on a computer. By being vigilant and aware of these warning signs, you can take action before significant damage is done. So unexpected system behavior. If a computer starts behaving erratically or experiences frequent crashes, it could indicate a Trojan infection. So slow performance is that in some cases, sudden, a decrease in system performance might signal the presence of a malware consuming some resources. Okay, and new files or programs. So unfamiliar files or programs appearing on a computer without the user access could be able to due to some Trojan horse installation. Okay, and suspicious email and attachment. So be cautious when opening emails from some unknown senders or unexpected attachment. So these malicious attachments could contain some malicious code, a program to infiltrate your system, and abrupt changes in security settings. Trojans may attempt to disable security features such as firewall and antivirus software. And if you notice And if you notice these changes in settings that you did not authorize, investigate further for potential threat. Okay. So these helps to identify and neutralize a potential threat before they harm your system. Okay. And next one is that how to remove a Trojan virus. So removing a Trojan virus from your system requires a combination of best practices and proper tools. First, you have to follow these steps to eliminate the threat. So the first one, update your antivirus software. That is, you have to ensure you have the latest version of antivirus software as it contains some updated definitions to detect and remove the new threats. Second one, disconnect from the internet. To prevent further damage or data theft, disconnect your devices from networks while removing the malware. Okay, and safely boot into a safe mode. Restarting in safe mode allows you to run some essential programs without interference from malicious processes. Press F8 during startup of Windows system or hold Shift during a restart on a Mac OS devices. And delete the temporary files is done. Clearing out some temporary files can help speed up the virus scanning and potentially remove some malware components. Okay. And next is that you have to use some disk cleanup on Windows or Finders empty trash feature on Mac OS. And last but not least, run an antivirus scan. A comprehensive system scan using some reputable antivirus software should identify and quarantine any Trojans present on your device. So to prevent Trojans, malware from infecting your system, you have to use some strong passwords, maintain up-to-date antivirus protection, and avoid downloading and installing malicious applications, especially from unfamiliar emails. So these practices are essential even if you have robust cybersecurity system and security awareness training implemented throughout your organization. Okay. So this is a way to remove a Trojan virus. And next one, how to protect against Trojan horses. So you must implement a multi-layer security approach to safeguard your systems from Trojans. Here are some effective strategies for protecting against the Trojan malware attacks. The first one, install reputable antivirus software. Like you have to choose a reliable antivirus program that offers a real-time protection and regular updates. Keep the software up to date. Regularly update all the applications and OS with the latest patches to close vulnerabilities cyber criminals that may exploit, and avoid some suspicious download. Okay, be cautious when downloading files or clicking on links from unknown sources. Always verify the legitimacy of websites before proceeding with some downloads. Okay, and educate the users about the phishing attack. You have to train the employees to recognize and avoid potential phishing emails, which often serve as an entry point for the Trojan malware. Okay. Last one, we have to create a strong password and enable multi-factor authentication. We have to use some complex passwords combined with multi-factor authentication, making it more difficult for attackers to gain unauthorized access to accounts or devices. So in the world of cybersecurity, it takes more than just understanding what a Trojan horse is. It's just critical for IT teams, security professionals, and enterprise leadership to deploy the right cybersecurity technologies and safeguard the strategies to prevent these invaders from wreaking havoc on an organization's data as well as the system. So while browsing the web, pay attention to the URL displayed in your browser address bar. Also inspect the lines before you click on them. And install some privacy or security extension from your browser Windows extension store. Okay. And some, like common or some real-time example if you take. Uh, there, like as I told, some Rakini malware, right? And apart from that, there are some uh, like real-time examples and the protective tips from Norton, where you could able to get your sources. Okay. So as we have discussed, there are some so many types of Trojan viruses available. So in order to protect these tips or to prevent, we have discussed here. So in the future, if you are trying to access a mail or if you want to set some of the things in the sense, you just pay attention to it and then proceed with the click on procedure. Okay. So what is the impact of this Trojan horse attack, like data theft, financial loss, operation disruption, or brand equity, loss of consumer confidence, okay, compliance violations, or further malware infections. Okay. So we have seen so many types of Trojan horse attack: phishing, remote access Trojan, banking Trojan. Okay, and the most common types we have seen is, so the best practices is that implement some least privilege regular backup training for the employees. Okay, so all such things we have to do it. And I will just want to summarize. So here we have discussed about the what is meant by Trojan and how to protect against a Trojan, what are the features or how to remove the Trojan and how to recognize the Trojan virus and examples of the Trojan virus. Yes, I mean the attack and most common types of Trojan and how does it work, right? We have discussed so many cases, but apart from that, I would like to say is that even though we have like of the dangerous threat to the information security of individuals and organizations, the user ability to mimic it or legitimate software and some highly advanced social engineering methods to take advantages of the victim. So from phishing Trojan to remote access tools and banking malware, they can result in some data loss or money theft and numerous operational issues for all those who fall victim. Yes, however, by following these steps, you could able to clear the malware attack if possible. So I conclude my speech over here. I hope this video will be very useful. We will check out in the next video. So thank you all.